Hello, everyone. This is Manisha with Quest, and welcome to Quest Experience Week. Today's session is Beyond the Horizon, Caribbean Resorts Leap into Oracle World with Mr. Pramod Lowry from Datavale. A few housekeeping notes to go over before we get started. All attendee lines are on mute and will stay on mute throughout the session. If you have any questions, please put them in the question box. We will answer them at the end of the session. Just a quick reminder, this will be recorded and uploaded to the Quest content library. And this time I'll kick it over to Pramod, who will get things started. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha. Let me thank you all for your time and good afternoon. I think you might have had a great long day today, going over a lot of sessions. Thank you very much for your time to go over the journey with us and the story to share from us. So let's continue. So I think we're going to touch upon the recent journey we had. I think there's also continuation with a customer of ours who were in the crossroads like a year ago about where we should go, what we should do, when we should do, and how. So as a result of the whole journey, we have put together our observations and plans and how did we guide them through the journey and constantly moving out to the modernization path using Oracle Cloud. And again, my name is Pramod Lowry. I'm a part of the Datavale, and we do a lot of strategy to execution to help customers, like many of you on the call, as well as the business leaders, to help them to make some decisions on, guide them through the journeys, and build their sustainable long-term goals around how we're going to sustain the constant improvement in the ERP ecosystem, as well as your business changes, as well as the technology debts areas. And again, this is a thing from our team. Basically, once you complete the session, we would like to get your feedback to make us the sessions better in the future, as also can get into a raffle for the eligibility for the free, the small goodies team has put together. I'm going to go. And I think I just mentioned via Datavale, we actually do like full service to our customer enterprise ecosystem, basically, whether it's a technology, whether it is business, or whether it's data, whether it is, strategy, we all have the whole end-to-end processes covered with us. And we've been doing this for over 10 of years. And we have a lot of leadership, all the way from the leadership expertise to the business tactical expertise as well, to also managed services. We do that around the globe. Again, I just want to touch upon before we dwell into the details around how we got there. Overall, in the hospitality industry, I think that our customer it belongs to has a lot of change coming up because of a lot of technology debt and process debt and people debt. As a result, in general, a lot of industry has moving towards modernization, whether it's a digital transformations or towards a modern self-service based knowledge activities in their industry. And again, as I said, it all started post-pandemic, and when things have gone through the roof and ceiling, and when they had a decline in their traffic and stuff for a temporary short period of time before people picked up, they got a chance to think through where they can be running into and how do we garner attention. But during that process, they also found out a lot of these leaders have sat down and put together some notes, and they found out that what we should do to kind of go through to modernize and kinds of stuff. And also during the same time, there's a lot of acquisitions or consolidations happening in this industry so that they can build some more assets and more capacity for customers to kind of leverage with their platform. Again, there are two things they've been more worried around. One was moving things into cloud so that they can have infinite scale and scalability. Second one was how do we adapt and adapt it, the merger and acquisitions happening during that period. That's one. And then the second part was a lot of things. The hospitality has got everything related to guest. Guest is their customer, and guest, they need to make sure how we make the seamless experience and kinds of stuff. apart from that, yes, they also have the workforce behind them, which is labor, and their operational efficiency can only driven. They were all on pen and paper versus a lot of legacy environments and kinds of stuff to a modern aspects of it. That's one of the big thing. Apart from the stuff is the data they gather and automation they have to notify and also get the feedback for the customer to build some intelligence around the guest experience is very important for us to serve better needs and stuff. And also we all know how it is when we go to a resort or when we go to a hotel, it all comes down to that impression and expressions, right? And kinds of stuff and ambience, which gives us that peace of mind. I think this is very important in that industry, that they have to evolve, they have to learn from the data they gather and also provide the catering custom solutions for it. And again, during that, based on that outcome, there were two strategies. One was the business level strategy, the other one was the resource level strategy. How are you going to attain those these are the high level metrics based on the Gartner analytics around the hospitality aspects of it. Again, all these are related to what our current customer was measuring against and see where the improvements are. And we only help them to identify the technology and the business process standpoint and strategy to align with their modernization. But again, there are also a lot of change management happening on their side to take advantage of these opportunities in the segments. Being said that, again, the challenges are challenges. As I said, it's a lot of manual processes, and they have legacy ERP on a legacy infrastructure, and it's going to be kind of the leap of faith kind of situation they were in, that sometimes they don't have any control on aging hardware, that how does it run and what's the stuff. But instead of they came to us saying that, can you fix this problem? Instead of looking at that problem to fix as a short term, we kind of looked at the overall holistically what their processes challenges are, and then we put together a short term, mid-term, and long-term goals are. But again, without doing that, we could have easily done saying, okay, we can move from infrastructure to the cloud and workload and we are done. But we did not. We are not satisfied there. But we worked with the leadership and saying that what you will do after you're done with this progressively, so that you have a holistic picture and a big picture to go through. Again, some of the things we have encountered were but the data inconsistencies and also their organizational hierarchy they have, how they managed it. And they also have a lot of turnover in the workforce. And how do you get somebody up and running within few hours of self-service training versus that a week or two to get certified, to get trained, and to operate with the guests. And a lot of these things were related to that. And if also a lot of relevant technology related stuff, which led into an opportunity conversation with the customers, especially with the leadership and as well as the IT. We looked at that. And again, these are listed, some of them, I think, very relevant. And also the other relevance are around the process deficiencies they have. They have implemented PeopleSoft a while ago before when we walked in there, and now they were at the crossroads. Do I need to upgrade or do I need to do what? So again, that's one of the things they had, and they have multi-ERP ecosystem. And also there is a third component for planning and budgeting, which is again, all our Oracle ecosystem. And there's a diverse applications on top of it, led into a lot of data movement without any accountability and, and auditability and kinds of, there are auditability, but it takes a lot of time to mishmatch and data meshes everywhere, and the data warehouse was not there. So they were printing or getting 3 or 4 outputs from these three systems to merge together through macros. And we all know Excel is the best ERP system with the data extracted in, so we can do our own macros, but eventually they were not satisfied. But we also were not, because we always believe in a unified repository and a process alignment and aspects of it. And these are some of the challenges we led with them through. And again, ultimate goal, when all cloud was cleared through our initiative, ultimate goal was to get them into an integrated system, which actually has end-to-end process from their innovation, which is products and services, all the way down to their build. They always constantly build their properties and stuff around, and how do they get the capacity and measure. again, that's what the scenario was. Again, then after that, we sat down and say, how do you build a journey? The multiple stages are, we just broken down to three. How do we plan the journey, and basically how do we get off the ground with initiatives, and basically what are the goals when you arrive at the finishing line. Basically, these are some of the things we have kept measures to ourselves as well as for the customer. This is again, instead of when we started as it was just an initiative as a project, where we translated that into a program, not just a project, because it's got different aspects of value driven aspects of it, and also investment and modernization aspects of it. Then again, as I said, we have used this technique. We have to put together with the customer, going through their strategic vision, and eventually come up with their preparation, what they need to understand based on our tribal knowledge and based upon the conversation, and eventually where they are currently with their stuff, with our viewpoint from a third party perspective, and also where we will be basically in few years from now versus the next, like I would say, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months kind of model we have put together to give them an idea. And also we have the journey is all about how we get there. And again, it's not going to be a leap of faith or a magic pill you're going to swallow and everything will come up. There's no magic genie, but it's all about that commitment, measurement, alignment, and also sustain the growth and change. And these are some other things. And then we put together an overall program and got approved from the board and gone through. But as a result of it, it's not just like that. We put together this and got the answer, but we have taken this a couple of notches down, and we used our own methodology to kind of align with it, to align with best practices, to align with their modernization techniques and all other stuff based on the tribal knowledge. We used our Health Boost as a tool to measure, optimize, and sustain. And as a result, we went one level down, and so we came up with saying, if you have an ERP, which is I would say on-prem ERP, any of the Oracle on-prem or any additional in case of Oracle on-prem, all of them are going towards 2034. And what's going to do next? If you just upgrade and just keep it on the cloud, so you're going to have to go through this. These are some of the options we sat down to, based on those interview questions, got down to a level about where would be the right investment and how would we recover some savings from now and modernize ourselves to the next level. This is one of the options we basically went through from the adoption perspective. And then they're only just take lift and shift to the cloud, and just a potential opportunity to upgrade and modernize. They won't get anything else but what they're going to do in 2035 or 2034. And then next part is basically we have done through an option for software as a journey, where infrastructure modernization happens, and then we take them to the journey. Those are the ones you get into software as a service, which is actually the cloud ERP, what we call it as footprint. And then all these three major applications they have to run their business operations becomes one, and you're building your modern stack, the experience apps on top of it. And this was the option too we have given, so that they go through I would call it as a step approach rather than a leap of faith. And the third one also we gave them, saying instead of doing through a step approach, why don't you take a leap of faith? But again, we all know how it is big bang, taking a leap approach without understanding the risk, and de-risking some of the stuff is how relevant in the current industry, because it's fast paced. Technology is changing all the time. So we have to stay ahead of the time. But again, these are the three options we gave them. But through a lot of deliberations with them and gone through a lot of brainstorming with the teams, we came up with a final recommendation, which is that you're going to go through. Step one is relieve your current hardware debt issues, where you're doing aging hardware and stuff, and move into cloud as a workload first, without any major changes to it. And basically lift and migrate. And then once you have there, you got some savings in there, use the savings towards and start peeling the layers of the onion, move business function by business function or the process function, basically HCM or financials or, or the planning and budgeting part of it, we were able to get them down to the journey. So that way they get, instead of saving and keeping in the bank, they use it back to modernize themselves, to relieve all the process deficiencies process debt they have, and the people challenges they have, and the culture. So that also gives them some breather room, and also some gives them that ability to adapt and adopt to the rapid change they're going to go through that stuff. So again, this is the recommendation. Once they started this, and we went to one level down and put together a multiple phase approach. Stage one is to basically bring them everything to OCIs to stabilize. So you see that the PeoplesSoft, JD Edwards, and Hyperion move them to OCI and stabilize. That relieves and also provide some additional time for the business users and the IT to invest on what's next. And second thing is any low hanging fruits they can extend, they were able to extend so that they can eliminate. And at the same time, they were also looking at the cloud, where if they were to go through stage 3, which is the transforming to ERP, but during that process, they have to do a lot of cleanup. So this is where customer had some wisdom about that. They know their data, they know their process, they know their challenges. We were able to put together some roadmap in there to come up with this as a multi-stage approach we gave. And again, and the phase 2 is basically taking them completely to the cloud. The cloud mean that we have gone through the HCM part, we are above, but then now they are going to the financials and planning and budgeting. So in 2 stages, they were able to go from basically flip of a kind hardware, whether it works tonight or not, it's going to be run a payroll successfully or not, to basically bring them to OCI, and then they are in it is a long journey. It's a long commitment from top down, not the bottom up. And also they're very, very motivated and very challenging, and also gives us more challenges, problems to solve, because nothing comes easy. And also, as we're going through the journey, we have to apply different techniques to kind of stabilize and standardize them, not to give them just whatever they have, but also align with the business processes and stuff. Again, these are all comes with a lot of lessons we have learned from it. As its challenges are, everybody thinks it's easy. You've been operating on an ERP more than 10 years, then you know exactly what you have. But how open and how easy is to let go the bad practices or the decisions. I would not call bad practices. It's a wrong word, wrong choice of word. But reality is the decisions we made, what we have on hand during that phase, or inherited all the decisions made back in early 2000s or late 2000s. And eventually, when you have to make a big leap of faith from an on-prem to cloud, there's a lot of control we need to let go, and a lot of discipline we need to add, which we don't have, and also rigor to accept the right alignment of processes versus basically just learning from webinars or learning from the stuff. But we need to still have to validate and ask the right question. Prepare your change management as key is a key, and also data. Without data, you can have a great ERP, and if the data is not there historically, how do you make sure you bring up your intelligence required for some upstream processes or downstream? And again, and the biggest thing was, we always hear this word called, you have to stay within the framework of out of the box. Again, Oracle platform or any future ERP we are embarking on, they're all built on certain assumptions, but good news is they're all built on best practices. Back in the day, ERPs were built and best practices were laid. Now it's a flip of the other side. And also there's a lot of information is there now. It's treated as a business application. And again, eventually we all have to work through that stuff and thoroughly test it. And adoption is important, and scale it. Again, these are some of the things we found, and corrective actions were in place. And we as a team had sometimes assumed, but we never made decisions based on assumptions, but we validated, and we have thoroughly engaged customer from the beginning, business user whose life is going to be changed or is going to be improved, and a lot of timing is going to be given back to them, how they manage their productivity and time efficiently with that. These are some of the lessons, and there is a lot of expectations. Everybody thinks that, oh, I signed the project, we want to go live this. But if we don't have a constant checkpoints, if you don't have a constant involvement, if you don't have a sense of ownership throughout the journey, we all will have he said, she said moment, and also we'll have could have, would have, should have moment. But the reality was it's important. The second important thing was the decisions. We always have, when we write an engagement like this with the statement of purpose and work, we always say that we will give you 5 days to make a decision. But reality is, in order to make the decision right, do we have to stick with it also? And also, if that feasibility or all other facts are not given to us, how we will go back and measure how where we deviated. And also, the project management is a key in this position to keep the expectations aligned. And as we all know, there's always called what is the must have, which is thoroughly has to be done, without which you cannot operate the business. What is the nice to have? Because as we all know that every time you go to a business and ask for requirements, they put a lot of wish list coming through. But how we put together a filter to make sure that we will still honor it, but we will not deliver on. We will deliver it in a timely fashion. Again, we just have to put a trust, and we have to build the trust as a provider. We have to build the trust with the business user with empathy, not sympathy. And we have to build the trust about if there is a challenges, about showing them the path, about the best approach to take. Instead of taking 5 steps back, we should say that can we start slow and crawl, walk, and run versus instead of leap. So again, it comes down to empathy. It's very important. And the third aspect, the whole process is Oracle or any software vendor is providing any software as a service provider. You have to clearly understand what does that mean, where the control stops and where you have sustainability starts. The release updates and all kinds of stuff are very important for all of us. Again, these are some expectations we need to weather. Again, as I said, we all have to measure ourselves through how we go through and kind of stuff. There is various aspects of strategy to execution comes with a lot of other support. And again, we just have to make sure we don't overspend. And if we spend, we get enough value to showcase and improve upon rather than staying back in the Stone Age. Again, as I said, once we gone through the process, there's a lot of opportunities out there depending on the decisions you made, and limited opportunities if you just move your workloads to the cloud, versus a lot of potential if you move yourself into the software as a service, because it's evolving. I think the last 5 years evolution is equivalent to the last 10 years within the whole on-prem legacy applications, because at some point they all will fold and roll into the cloud. Eventually, cloud is picking up a lot with across industries, across the functionalities, across the business processes. Again, being said that we are there, and I think we are open to share with all the knowledge and opportunities and challenges we all went through. Again. To Manisha, this is I'm gonna give it back to you for any questions or Q&A.
All right, please, if you have any questions, put them out in the Q&A chat and we can answer them live. All right, doesn't look like we have any.
Okay.
Closing remarks from you?
Yeah, I think hope we might have given you some thought around the challenges and opportunities we need to look for, and eventually, if you guys need any kind of assistance, phone a friend or want to talk to an expert, please reach out to us. And to the data whale, and we will be able to engage with you and provide you guidance around it. Again, the one thing is, please do not assume and do not take a big leap, but there could be many reasons and many pressures we all go through in our daily lives, but we all have to be de-risk it and basically realign so we have a better future. So I think thank you all for your time, and have a great rest of the week for the Quest experiences.
And thank you so much, Mr. O'Leary, to you and Dataville for delivering this great session for us.
Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.